My name is Barry Allen. And I am the fastest man alive.
Listen to me. There's a war coming. A terrible war.
You have failed this city.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Fandom Zone, episode 20. I'm your host this week, Karen, and with me is Charles, who is making his Flash figurine dance across the screen this week. Although he did not hold up his Captain Cold, which would have been apt, since there he is, since we are discussing Captain Cold this week.
He's always around when you least expect it.
That's true, he is.
He's as cold as ice, willing to sacrifice our love.
Well, his love,
that's true. My love.
His sister and his partners and everyone else he works with. And this week we will be discussing Birds of Prey, episode 7, Split.
Mm-hmm.
And The Flash, episode 4, Going Rogue.
Going Rogue.
That's right. Where we get the start of his rogue gallery, as it were.
Yes.
One of his main nemesises.
Nemesius. Whatever that word is.
Yeah, that.
Whatever.
Where he gets one of his main supervillain guys.
It's the official start of the Rogues Gallery.
Correct.
And what better
Captain
rogue
Cold
to start with than Captain Cold?
Captain Cold is pretty much the main
the
main guy. And, you know, we get a hint of his partner in crime as well at the end of the episode.
Heat wave.
That's
Gonna
right.
have a heat wave.
And I love that they have a connection to in real life.
Right.
Which is awesome. And it is actually the same actor that portrays him later on in the series as well. It's just his voice in this episode.
Yeah, a vocal cameo.
Right.
Right.
But it is his voice. So it's very cool. So let's start with Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Even though we talked about The Flash.
It's so tempting to just go right into The Flash.
I know it is. It is. But let's start with Birds of Prey. It's Split. And the title is actually apt in this case, where last week I couldn't figure out why they...
We've had that a couple times on this
show. Yeah, but this week it makes sense.
Right.
Split for split personality. Because the main character, it ended up that he was the villain in split personality type thing.
He has dissociative identity disorder.
Well, sort of. Only after he killed the guy.
Yeah, there's a little trauma.
Right,
involved.
right.
Yeah, that we found out.
It turns out that he was a good guy, and this bad guy that he had been chasing all of his life killed his fiance, and in that action, he took on, I guess, this parasite embedded himself in dark.
See, the way I saw it was that it was just his personality split and created this new persona with these abilities to shape change and physically become that persona.
Okay. Well, they mentioned parasite inside him, but I'm not sure whether that was...
I thought that was just a metaphor, personally.
It could have been, yeah.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't clear.
I mean, you could take either way because they mentioned parasite, but it could have also been him, suffering that trauma, especially because of the Harley Quinn connection with her, psychoanalyzing the whole thing, you know, and her getting in the mind of the villain. And, you know, you do get a really deep insight into her character here in this episode, where she loves looking into the mind of villains. And, you know, it's...
Yeah, we have a new relationship with her and Reese.
Yeah.
Because he goes to her for advice.
Right. And he tells Helena he's going to go see her. Now, this is his first visit to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's a police therapist, is what he says. Now, Helena's going to her because she was in trouble, I'm guessing, and she's a police mandated therapist. Is that the deal?
Maybe that might be the connection. I thought it was first a little coincidental, but now that you mention it, it does make sense that if she does have a police affiliation, that she could have been court mandated therapist as well as a consultant for the police at the same time.
Right. So that's what I'm thinking. And that's probably why she took that job in the first place.
Right.
Because that puts her in contact with both sides of the law.
And being Harley, you know, she's got her ulterior motive.
Right. She wants to always keep her foot in.
Yeah.
On both sides of the law. To
Finger on the pulse, as it was.
Straddle that line. So she's definitely got Reese now under her thumb. And Reese is very interested in her opinions in this episode. Very interested. He is very intrigued by what she says. And, you know, she says how this guy is very interesting, that he suffered some trauma, and he doesn't like lovers. He doesn't like love. He wants to eradicate love, and how very interesting it is that she, you know, she's just so, I need to know more almost. And
I made notice of that because, you know, I thought it was really interesting how she's spinning it, the whole perception from the villain's point of view.
Right. Yes.
And she says that he see this guy Crawler we're talking about.
Right.
That's the guy's name. Played by Brian Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
He sees himself as a hero. He just wants to be loved.
Right.
You know? And then you know, she gets on the whole evil thing, and she actually makes this comment, which I really like, this one line where she says, "Evil's so much more interesting than good, don't you think?"
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
She says.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you mentioned Brian Thompson, and he has a few credits to his name: X-Files, Cobra, the movie Cobra, and the movie Alien Nation. And I thought that was pretty cool. A nice
resume,
nice cadre of
X-Files. I mean, you know him. He's the big hulking Cro-Magnon clone dude,
right?
The X-Files,
right?
So if you need a big hulking Cro-Magnon kind of guy, you get Brian Thompson.
Right, exactly.
He's got this big caveman look about him.
Yes. And we had some other great people. I mean, Darkstrike himself, Christopher Polaha. Polaha? Is that how you say that?
Let's go with
I don't know. I've seen him. I mean, I know who he is, but I've never heard his name pronounced. True Calling, Angel, Life Unexpected, Backstrom, and Stalker. Life Unexpected, I mean, he was the lead character in that.
Yeah.
And Backstrom, most recently, he was the second, only to Rainn Wilson. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was like one of the detectives on his team, and he was always like the granola eating kind of, you know,
hippie guy.
Existential, always, you know, looking into the kind of, you know, Backstrom. Rainn Wilson was this kind of Columbo-y, you know, growly guy, and he, Christopher, was this kind of, well, let's look into the psychoanalysis portion of the, you know, he's all
introspective.
Correct.
Right.
And so Backstrom just hated him. And of course, Annie Wershing was Lynn Emerson from the DA's office in this. And I mean, we know her from 24, Extant, Bosch, and also on Castle from, she was one of the big bads in this last season. So
I did
from
not
3XK's partner in crime. So Yeah, but 24,
Yeah.
That's what she's most well known for. But I mean, people listen to this podcast sometimes for me.
Right.
And I do the Castle podcast, so they're going to know her from Castle.
I got you.
A bit.
So you've got the Castle side of the audience covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was one of the really hated characters this last season. She appeared in about, I don't know, 3 episodes, which was a big deal for Castle.
So she was the person you loved to hate.
Yeah, she was deliciously bad.
Okay.
And she died in a very gruesome way, which is
that's cool.
Odd as well for Castle. Yeah. Yeah, so a lot of people that have become very well known from this episode, which was very cool, I thought.
It's interesting how many people go on from this show.
Yeah.
This is like, if you really wanted to dig for some obscure people, or at least they're probably a part of their past they probably don't want you knowing about.
Yeah. Go
watch this show. Yeah, watch this DVD set.
Although the acting was good in the show, I thought.
Yeah.
I would mention this on my resume if I was coming up, and I wouldn't be ashamed of it at all. At least if I was any of these people. There might be something coming up that isn't quite so good, but these people so far, they're good to go.
Who knows what we're going to uncover?
Exactly. But yeah, that it's like, if you look up some people, especially in this genre, that you can pretty much guarantee they've all been on Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
They've all been on some form of Star Trek.
Right.
They've all been on Battlestar Galactica or something like that. And they've all been on Stargate. You know, that you can guarantee. And they have all done a voice for something.
Yeah.
A video game, a Justice League, something.
I'm noticing that a lot of people on superhero TV shows right now were Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Mm-hmm. CSI.
Everybody seems to have Law and Order that specific Law and Order on their resume.
SVU?
Yeah, SVU. It's amazing because I do when they have the casting news and I post it on Damn Good Coffee and I'm writing up like, okay, you probably may know this person from this and they were also in this and this and this. Well, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be from Law and Order Special Victims Unit. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's only one episode because it's just guest shot, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's maybe, especially like the Flash, Arrow, Supergirl.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that maybe the Rappaport casting or whatever that does their casting draws like, okay, you're on Law and Order Special Victims Unit? Sold! You're coming on our show.
Sold. Yeah, but see, I don't list stuff like that because that's usually like a one shot. They were the villain or someone was questioned or something like that.
It's just a weird coincidence. I've
noticed. Yeah. But again, I don't mention if they were on Star Trek or, one of those things, unless they were a big enough role that they were remembered.
I was Alien with bumpy forehead number 4.
Right.
On Next Gen or something. Yeah.
And the only reason I did all those Castle references last week is because they were all on Castle. Last episode, sorry.
Right.
A great group of people on this episode. And also, I had forgotten to mention that this episode was written by Adam Armus and Kay Foster, who wrote for The Following and Heroes. And the teleplay was, of course, Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz, who did a lot of the Birds of Prey episodes. And they're the showrunners for Once Upon a Time, as we've mentioned before.
Right.
And directed by James Marshall. Am I right this time?
I have Jim Charleston.
Okay.
I think James Marshall was the last one.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
So Jim Charleston, and what has he done?
I don't know. You're the research guy. I thought you knew. I was expecting you to have it covered, so I didn't bother.
Okay. Jim Charleston, you say?
Yes.
Go ahead and talk about
this. I'm sure he's done some stuff. Okay. Well, the general gist of this episode.
Northern Exposure, Millennium, Dark Skies, Time Cop, Star Trek Enterprise. We're good.
Northern Exposure and Millennium, it's like sold, man.
Yeah.
You're good in my book.
Yep. Northern Exposure is great. So that's the gist of it is this guy doesn't like love. He kidnaps people, girls, and he wants to ruin love. And it turns out that it's Darkstrike, who is this guy who worked with Black Canary. So there's a connection to Dinah and
Oracle.
And Oracle, yes. That's why he comes back.
It was part of their club.
Right. And he has a connection, like an instant connection with Huntress because they have similar powers.
And similar tailors.
Yeah.
They dress quite alike.
Right. They're very ninja-y.
Yeah, let's dress in black and wear a coat. That's our costume.
Right. And there's a little bit of a thing happening where she's with Darkstrike and Reese has this DA partner, a girl. And so there's a bit of tension there between Reese and Huntress because, there's sexual tension. Yeah, sorry. I got this new sound effect.
I love that. Yeah. That's great.
So there's that whole tension and then there's a bit more tension in that they're working on the same case and Huntress gets a little bit of evidence. And when she shares it with Reese, they half it. And Reese is not fond of that, is he? He doesn't want to half it with her.
It's basically like there's the girl that got kidnapped. Her ponytail is left behind.
Right.
Of all things.
Right.
And so like Huntress kind of like, just casually takes part of that.
Right.
So she could give it to Oracle to run through the Oracle machine to come up with
even though
info.
That part of their ponytail wouldn't really do anything.
Well, they do have a reason. They come up with a reason for it, but it's a kind of cheesy reason.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, just to find out where she's located. They make
it wouldn't have
a
DNA.
completely wild speculative guess based on this episode.
Right.
Aha, this is where she must be.
Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah, but they got to wrap it up in an hour, so
sure. So yeah, that's pretty much the case, and then he suffered the trauma. He takes on the identity of this killer, and it isn't the actual killer that he had been tracking in Central City, which is interesting. They mentioned Central City, which is of course the home of the Flash.
I was going to say, now where's the Flash in all this, Birds of Prey?
Right, exactly. They don't have the license to mention him, I'm assuming.
I'm right here.
Right.
Hello.
But apparently, I'm guessing the Darkstrike may have crossed paths with the Flash back in the day, trying to track down the crawler. And but apparently, he killed the crawler. Yeah. And took on this persona.
And the cool thing I liked about this part was that he wasn't aware of this. I mean, it was completely dissociative. He fought crime as Darkstrike.
Right.
Which on a side note, I don't know if you picked up on this, but he feels like a Nightwing, pseudo Nightwing to me.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we want to make this guy kind of schizo, so we can't really use Nightwing, but we want to use Nightwing.
Right.
That's the vibe I got from him.
Yes.
Because he kind of looks like Dick Grayson.
Right.
Right. So, but anyway, so he isn't aware, and he's like, I'm constantly on the hunt for him, and he leaves me all these clues in my bedroom or my hotel rooms.
Right.
And constantly taunts me.
Right.
And
of course he does, because he's you.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that. So
and of course that's where all the
drama is from. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course that's where all the clues are, because it's you.
That was hilarious. One of the clues is a mannequin left inside his bed.
Right.
That's got like handwriting on it. And I'm like, what is that mannequin doing in his bed?
Oh, that's weird.
I was like, okay, what's up?
Really weird.
Yeah.
Some sort of fetish thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I thought it was an interesting case. There were a few little hand waves in it, but it was pretty good.
Right.
For this show. The girls had an interesting time. Dinah actually had a purpose.
Hey.
Right.
About time.
She laid hands on someone and she saw the vision, and she actually saw Darkstrike
But then
Even though
she passed out.
Even though she couldn't say it, yeah.
I'm overwhelmed, thud.
Yeah, exactly. But she served a purpose in this one. She used her power, which means that we're getting closer to her actually actualizing her powers.
She's almost competent.
Right.
Almost. Just
almost competent.
So close.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then there's the thing also at the end of the episode where they Huntress doesn't have her boyfriend in the end. And Jesse really doesn't end up with the DA. So, we have that block done. So Huntress and Jesse can, resume their love-hate relationship in the end.
Now, speaking of the DA,
yes,
one of the things I absolutely loved about this DA, she shows up at the crime scene. And, she talks to Reese. It's like a teenage boy has just been murdered.
Right.
The boy's just right there,
right.
all hacked to pieces or whatever.
Right.
And Reese is like, saying, well, I guess I can call you if I find out something.
Yes.
And you know what I'm going to say?
Call me even if you don't find something.
Exactly. And I'm like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, isn't that just a little inappropriate? But
a lot inappropriate. A lot. Yeah.
Maybe she gets turned on by dead bodies. I don't know, but
well,
that's true.
She is a serial killer later in life. So on Castle.
Oh, nice. Very. I see what you did there.
Yeah, I thought that was very inappropriate. I kind of went.
I just thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was. It was pretty funny. So he's definitely not going to go for her. I'm guessing. Yeah.
No. It's like, why is this chick trying to pick me up at a crime scene? What's up with that?
Not a good environment for that. So, was there anything I missed in that episode? Got anything else to add?
Let's see here. Hold on. Let me go through my notes. Oh, yeah, the whole pollen thing, which I thought was kind of hilarious.
Okay, yeah.
The big resolution is that Oracle, using her Oracle machine, analyzes this ponytail sample and finds that there's this strange pollen on there that can only come from one place, the Gotham Arboretum.
Right.
So that's where she must be.
Right. Because it's some flower that's not found in Gotham. It's only found in the Museum of Plants Arboretum,
Right.
So that's where she has to be. So, and of course, why would he take her to the Arboretum? What?
Everybody hangs at the Arboretum. It's the coolest place to hang out.
Why?
All the crazy cool kids on the Google Plus are there.
Are they?
Yes, they are. That's where they hang out, is the Gotham Arboretum. I wasn't sure where that was going.
The jaguar hangs out there, that's for sure. And the tall plants, ready to pounce.
Hey, now.
So,
that's where all the cougars hang out.
Yeah, that was pretty stupid, I thought, but yeah, it's definitely a hand wave. I mean, how you can't get DNA off of the end of a ponytail.
Again, they have to wrap this up in 45 minutes.
Right.
So yes, without commercials, yeah.
Okay, so
and then the other thing that was when Darkstrike gets locked up in Arkham Asylum.
Right.
Harley comes to visit.
Right.
And,
oh yes.
Yeah. So
and the crawler part of him knows.
Yeah. So he's there as Crawler because he's morphed into this persona.
See, and this is why I think it's a parasite.
Could be. I'm not gonna rule it out. But
he knows about Harley.
See, I just thought it was his.
But Darkstrike might know about Harley too.
Like he's talking to a villain, so therefore the villain side comes out. That's the way I saw it.
Well, no, I know about that, but which one would know about Harley?
Yeah. Obviously, apparently Crawler does.
Right. I don't know which one does, so
yeah.
Whichever one does.
But apparently Harley, yeah, because Crawler called Harley.
Right.
And so she
calls her out too.
She calls him. Yeah, she Harley asks him if he knows who the Huntress is, and he gives all that coy, like creepy Brian Thompson smile.
Yep. Yes. Good imitation there.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Whatever. So yeah. So So
and outs her as
because obviously if Harley figures out who Huntress is, it's all gonna hit the fan.
Yep. And outs her as Joker's girlfriend Harley as well. I mean,
yeah, this is the first time she's officially named as Harley Quinn.
Right.
Spells it right out, even though anybody that knows anything about Harley Quinn already figured that out long ago.
Right.
At the name Harleen Quinzel.
Right.
But they just spelled it right out for everybody else.
Honestly, anyone there in town should have known.
Yeah.
As well.
Kind of big, important criminal, hung out with the Joker a lot. Maybe you know him.
Right.
Yeah, so maybe they were photographed at one point.
Right. And I think it's kind of important also that Huntress mentioned that she watched her mother get stabbed.
Yeah.
And then we have Harley outed. So I'm guessing there's a big connection there, that it has to do with the Joker or Harley or something.
Right.
Of that matter.
Plus,
of course, that's Catwoman.
Plus, I'm also wondering why the new Gotham Police Department does not run a background check and realize that she was the Joker's therapist at Arkham Asylum.
Right. Duh.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, that wasn't in this continuity.
Right.
Whatever.
She may have changed her name. Who knows?
I know.
But she didn't. That was her name. I know. Hand wave.
Your name is Harleen Quinzel. We used to have this villain around Gotham called Harley Quinn. It just...
Did you have anything to do with her?
Yeah.
No.
What in the world can that be?
Look, Skylab. So,
don't fail me now.
So what did you give this episode?
I give this one 7 out of 10 ponytails covered in pollen.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I give this 7.5. That's why we never see them together.
It's like a bad sitcom, where one person goes in, the other person comes out.
Exactly. Hey, where'd he go?
Hey, where'd that guy go?
He was just here. I wanted you to meet him.
Clark Kent, but Superman was just here.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, that's we both are on the same one. It's a decent episode.
It's a fun episode, yeah, but yeah, it's not exactly It's a nice filler episode.
Right.
Yeah.
With some hints as to where it's going.
Yeah, it sort of advances the overall plot line a little bit, but not
just really hints, not an arc movement thing.
Right.
So, okay, so now we shall move on to The Flash, episode 4, Going Rogue.
Yeah.
And now we see The Flash and
Whoops, wrong Flash. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
And story by Andrew Kreisberg, Flash, Warehouse 13, Fringe, and the upcoming Legends / Supergirl.
I have written by Jeff Johns and Kai Yu Wu.
They did the teleplay.
Right.
I'm getting to that.
Kreisberg did the story. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Jeff Johns writes on The Flash, Smallville, and Robot Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
And Kai Yu Wu worked on Burn Notice and Hannibal. Directed by Glenn Winter. Am I right on that one?
Yep, you're right on that one. Glenn Winter directing Captain Cold. No.
I know. Pretty cool, right? Get it? Pretty cool. Thank you.
Very ice.
Hold on.
Yes. Thank you, Shecky.
And he worked on Smallville and Arrow.
Yes.
Oddly enough, Arrow. So again, like we said, it's the start of his Rogues Gallery, which is why it's called Going Rogue. Mm-hmm. We have also the appearance of Felicity Smoke, Emily Bett Rickards from Arrow.
Yep.
And she has come to make sure that Barry is all right and he woke up from his coma. But also, she overheard him talking to Oliver Queen back in the Arrow Cave or near it, and knows that he is...
Because she's not an idiot.
The Flash, right?
Right.
Although they haven't named him the Flash yet.
No, he's the Streak at this point.
Which is
because they call him the Streak. Boogity boogity.
I should have downloaded that.
I know we should have. I didn't think about. I
should've.
didn't think about that.
Yeah.
It's an old school Ray Stevens song. If you're interested.
Ray Stevens is awesome.
So yeah.
And by the way,
I'm sure it's all on the YouTubes. So yeah.
His albums and videos were produced by Mike Nesmith of the Monkees.
Points there.
Thank you.
And once again, Felicity is better on The Flash than she is on Arrow.
Right now.
Right now, yes. Yeah. But yeah.
She has been good on Arrow.
Yes, she has, which
Right.
is why the initial appeal.
Right.
But for season 3,
not so good.
Not so much.
No.
So yeah.
But she was really good in this episode.
Better on Flash season 1 than Arrow season 3. How's that?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that's really in question here, is it?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No. She was great. I think that Iris was also good in this episode.
Yes, she was.
Trying to push Felicity and Barry together and not realizing that Barry just wasn't into Felicity, that Felicity...
Even though they're perfect for each other.
Kind of. I mean...
That spark isn't there.
No. And if the spark isn't there, then they're not for each other.
Which is why she wasn't into Ray.
Right.
Ray Palmer, because spark wasn't there. She likes the bad boy on the salmon ladder.
Right. Ray's too good. And I think, honestly, Oliver, she's going to get tired of Oliver, too, because there's still that goodness. She needs a real bad boy. I mean, someone badder than that.
Plenty more superheroes like Justice League.
Yes. She'll go through them all.
She'll go with Lobo.
Lobo. Yeah.
She'll hop on the back of his space bike and...
That's right. That's right.
Well, remember, Felicity had that little goth phase.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what I'm saying.
She has a little...
She needs a biker or something.
Yeah, something going on there.
Definitely. Booster Gold, maybe.
Maybe.
Because he's kind of...
He's more cheesy than he is bad, isn't he?
Right. He's cheesy.
Yeah.
But she's cheesy.
That's true.
She is.
Okay. All right.
Is there a brooding superhero? Like a really
Batman?
Brooding, but not dark.
Yeah.
I mean, Batman does have a motorcycle.
Nightwing? I don't know.
What is this bizarre segue? Can we maybe...
Okay, anyway.
So we're just trying to fix up
Felicity. Well, get her away from Oliver, because this is just dumb. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. It's dumb.
Right.
So anyway, she comes to Central City, and of course she's accepted with open arms into the Star Labs family.
Hey, you know the Arrow? Awesome.
Yeah. And I think it's funny that they ask Barry, so does that mean you know who the Arrow is?
And he's really...
Goes,
what in the world can that be?
Right.
Feet don't pay me now.
Star Labs. Yeah, exactly. He can't really... He doesn't want to say, because that would definitely out Oliver. But
I do not know who the Arrow is.
Right. And they don't give it away in this one. Of course, later on.
Yeah,
in
they come right out.
Right. Well, and Oliver doesn't like to give away his secrets very easily, so probably a good idea that they don't give it out here. So, she's here, and she's not here for any reason other than to check on Barry, which I think is cool. She's not here to track any villains or anything like that. She doesn't have any ulterior motives, and I kind of dig that. Mm-hmm. That
the last time she saw Barry, he was in a coma after being struck by lightning.
Right.
So this is the first time, she really gets to meet him again.
Right, and it's very cool. It's not a hey, we're in danger moment. Mm-hmm. And I like that. And she's not there with any expectations of them getting together either.
She's not looking for a hookup.
No, not at all.
Definitely not a booty call.
No. She just wants to be friends at this point. And she does wear that dress. And I think she might be wondering if there's a spark.
Do you think she was trying to ignite a spark to see if it
she was going to see. Yeah, I think. Because they are perfect for each other.
And even Iris is like, dude, she's wearing that hot dress.
Right.
Why aren't you hit after that?
Go hit it.
Yeah, go hit that.
I think they could have. I mean, if they wanted to hit it that night, it would have been a hookup, definitely. Yep. But I don't think it would have meant anything to either of them.
Well, it's only season 1 for the Flash.
That's true.
There's always time.
Yeah, I don't think there is a spark at all between the two of them. And I wouldn't be as angry about them hooking up as I am about her and Oliver hooking up. I just don't see her and Oliver. It's not because I don't think it's right. It's just I don't see them together.
I think with Oliver, she's so codependent.
Yes.
And I think if
it's so unbalanced.
Right.
It's like she's looking at him with stars in her eyes.
Mm-hmm. I know you just like kidnapped a baby, but
yeah.
I still want to drive off
blink,
with you.
Blink.
Yeah.
Yeah. She becomes someone else with Oliver. She's not that strong, independent Felicity. She just becomes a simpering wimp.
Now, granted, that's how she's written.
Correct.
So if she was written better,
then I'd be cool with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she is this kind of, hey, I'm not the Felicity you've come to love. She's always blink, blink, that kind of Felicity.
Because I don't blame the character, because the character was not like that in the first 2 seasons.
Oh, definitely not.
So obviously the character can be written well.
Right.
But she's just not.
Right. And that's what we're saying.
So it's not the fault of the character. The character is fine.
Right.
But
we love Felicity.
Yeah, we do. That's why we want better.
Right, exactly. Her. That's why we are expecting better.
Yeah, exactly.
From her.
Our standards are higher after those first 2 seasons.
So I think it's cool in this episode that, she can contribute to the team, and it just so happens she's there when they need her. And knowing what we know, because the season is over, it's interesting to see the interaction between Harrison and Felicity. That he says he's been keeping track of these people that are exemplary in science, and I keep my eye on you.
I know your pedigree, yes.
Right. Well, of course you do, because you've seen her in the future, and you
have a bright future ahead of you, or something.
Of course she does, because you've seen that future, and you can see what he says in a completely different light now that you've seen the whole season, and I find that very interesting to watch.
He's so much more menacing.
Yes.
When you know the outcome.
Right. And he is you can almost hear a different tone.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right. Everything he says is sinister.
Right.
So,
when before it was like he's
just a throwaway comment. Yeah.
Right.
Before it was a throwaway comment, now it's just like boo ha 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 ha.
Right. Exactly. And the Star Loves thing was great with Felicity, and she's very hemmy and hawy, and don't worry, I know how to keep secrets, no problem. And then she meets Iris, and of course there's that whole pushing together thing with Iris. Iris is starting a blog about the streak,
even though she's still at the coffee shop at this point.
Right. She hasn't become a journalist.
Jitters. Yeah. She's just now starting to get the taste of it.
Right.
Of journalism.
Exactly. She hasn't started at the paper or anything like that. There's the whole we're dating thing with Joe, and Joe is incensed about it. He doesn't want this to happen at all.
Nope.
And it has nothing to do with Barry at this point. Nothing to do with Barry. We find out at the end of the episode that he has a very good reason for not wanting them to be together. They're partners.
Right.
And he doesn't want to have to worry about saving himself and his daughter's boyfriend.
Now, there was a great scene between those two, Eddie and Joe in the car, in Joe's car.
Are we friends?
Yeah, basically it's really horribly awkward.
Yeah.
And Eddie's trying to turn on the radio, and it's playing, when a man loves a woman.
And he switches the channel.
Then, there's another song coming on, and
the whole conversation is great because
Joe's like, we're not having this conversation.
Right? He starts out talking about something like a boy conversation, a man conversation, whatever, and then Joe's like, did I ever tell you about that time I blah, 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 blah? And Eddie says, no. Well, have we ever shared a beer together? No. That's right, because we're not friends.
Drops the mic, walks off.
Right. And that's when Eddie turns on the radio and it's all these love songs.
Yes, yeah.
And Joe just turns and looks at him and he turns off the radio. And it's a great scene between the two of them.
It is.
And it pretty much sets the tone for the tension that goes on off and on through the season.
Especially when Eddie wants to get Joe's blessing later on.
Oh, yes.
And Joe's just like, no,
you cannot have my blessing.
That's not happening.
Right. It's the same tone.
Yeah.
It's this exact same tone. I do love that when he says, because we're not friends. Mm-hmm. And the way Eddie is just like,
okay.
This is awkward.
Right.
His eyes kind of go back and forth, and it's very awkward. It makes me want to squirm in my seat when I'm watching it, even though I don't root for Eddie.
Well, Eddie is like super uptight white bread cop. He's in the suit, and he's all like, what was that nickname they gave him that in the beginning in the pilot? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And Captain Pretty Boy or whatever it was. Yes. Something like that. Or Detective Pretty Boy.
Pretty Boy.
That was it. So, yeah. So it's Joe's just like, no.
No. And Joe is the exact opposite of that.
Right.
Not that he's not a pretty boy, but
no, he's just relatable.
Right.
He's easygoing. He's easygoing. He's Mr. Cool.
Right. But he's also a little more hardened.
Yeah. He's the veteran.
Right.
Yeah.
And he knows how to look after himself. But now he's got that added pressure of, well, you're dating my daughter. Now I got to watch out for you too.
Right.
F off. He doesn't want to have to do that.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't want to go, like, if Eddie gets himself killed, he doesn't want to have to go back to Iris and say, well, I'm sorry, I got your boyfriend
killed.
Yeah.
Right. Which does happen, of course, at the end of the season. And side note, we just learned the other day, and what's the actor's name that plays Eddie?
Oh, Rick Cosnett.
It will not be on the show.
Right, which we knew.
Right. But it was confirmed.
Yeah, it was confirmed.
He won't even be in flashbacks, apparently. So
don't worry, there's plenty of people that would be on that show.
Yes.
He won't be. You won't have time to miss him. There's so many.
But there was speculation that he would come back.
Maybe he'll show up at a flashback scene. Like Colin O'Donnell on Arrow.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Ben Browder.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Something of that sort. Yeah, but wasn't there speculation that he might come back?
Well,
as Zoom.
I thought he would be perfect to come back as Zoom.
Yeah.
But Zoom is apparently going to be somebody else, unless they're like trying to throw us off the track.
Which could be.
I mean, they've done that before.
Yeah.
Like when they, with the whole Harrison Wells, not in changing his face and all that. So I wouldn't completely rule it out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, me either.
I wouldn't expect it, but
especially with them coming out with a big press.
It's a very remote possibility, but still a possibility.
Right.
That's why.
Now they haven't said Tom Cavanaugh's not coming back.
No, he's still a regular.
Right.
So yeah. So somehow the Reverse Flash is still in play, even though Zoom is supposed to be the big bad.
Right.
So
it's very interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how they play that out.
Now, how is he still alive when Eddie?
Because Zoom in the comics is Hunter Zolomon.
Right.
This guy that ended up in a wheelchair.
Right.
See, because they kind of I thought the Reverse Flash, the way they handled that, was a whole like blending of Zoom and the Reverse Flash.
Right.
But now they're actually going to introduce Zoom.
Right.
So we'll see how that happens.
Yeah. Seems interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That was just a side note.
Yep.
We're not really off track.
Just speculating.
Right. Since we were talking about Eddie anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that whole thing. And, this episode had a lot of the relationship stuff in it. But it also introduced, it had a lot of stuff packed in it. It introduced Captain Cold. And he is not a metahuman.
Right.
Which is interesting that they introduced him as the first of the Rogues Gallery, and he's not a metahuman. So, for them to be a show that revolves around this whole incident that started, with the lightning
Mm-hmm.
and introduced all these metahumans. The first of the Rogues Gallery is the main one, but he's not a metahuman.
Well, up till now, we had the Weather Wizard's brother, who died in the pilot.
Right.
And then we had the Mist.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Yeah, we've had them.
Yeah,
but this is the main...
Right. We're now getting into prime time.
Right. And this is going to be one that comes back to haunt him over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But he's just a normal guy with a weapon that was created by Star Labs.
Specifically Cisco.
Right. In order to stop Barry.
Right.
And it works so well that it kind of does.
I thought that was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Wells is not happy about it.
No, he's not, because we cannot have Barry slowing down, can we?
No.
We need Barry to go faster.
Right.
And to have him with that burn on the side of him, with the ice burn, not good.
If it wasn't for his metabolism, he would have died of... They mentioned that he would have died of third-degree frostbite.
Right.
So...
And, Harrison Wells sees that this guy's going to be a nemesis. I mean, he knows Captain Cold.
Yeah, he
obviously
should.
From the future.
Future boy should know Captain Cold.
Right. So he has to aim Barry towards making this truce with him, this unsteady truce, because he doesn't want Barry to slow down. He doesn't want Captain Cold to eradicate him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to make this truce with him. So he has to get Cisco to intervene at some point and stop Captain Cold from hurting Barry. So he has to kind of guide this one.
Everybody got that?
Right. Without really, putting a hand in.
Yeah. He has to work behind the scenes on this.
Yes. And he very much does. I mean, we don't really see a lot of that, but I'm guessing he kind of hints to Cisco behind the scenes, you better do something.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
Hey, look, I killed the Metamorpho's father-in-law in the 2 episodes ago. Right. So you better pay attention to me.
Right. Hey, we got a vacuum cleaner. Go use that.
I love the fact that it was just a cheesy vacuum cleaner.
I know. It was great.
And Captain Cold falls for it.
Right. I love it.
It was a souped-up vacuum cleaner.
Now, Captain Cold, he doesn't have the gun at first.
Mm-mm.
He goes to a weapons guy, and the weapons guy has 2 guns to choose from.
That he was a janitor that stole them from Star Labs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He has a heat ray and a cold ray, and he likes the cold ray very much.
Yep.
And he says, "So who knows about it?" "Well, just me and you." And he goes, "Nope, just me."
Zap.
And he kills the guy. So we know right off the bat that
cold-blooded.
Yeah. That Leonard Snart doesn't care about killing people.
And he doesn't play either.
No, he doesn't mess around. So at this point, we realize that he has the gun. Now, if you're smart, you're going to realize that he's taken both guns, right?
Right.
If you're smart.
Or if you're Snart.
Dope. Yeah, because he's not going to leave another gun sitting there.
No,
right?
it's like, oh yeah, this heat weapon that could melt walls and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Why would I do that? Yeah.
It's a bonus. So that's an interesting thing, that you don't see on the screen, but it comes back at the end.
I just happen to know a guy.
Right.
That would really love this gun.
Right. And
you have to do it really drolly. I just happen to know a guy who really loved this gun.
And maybe if we go to prison, we'll break out together using these guns.
Nice. I see what you did there.
Yeah. Which I will mention in a moment, actually. He's played by Wentworth Miller.
Right.
Obviously, Captain Cold. And
I love him as Captain Cold.
Oh, he's so good.
I love the drollness, the dry.
So good. God.
I just love that.
I love him so hard as this villain. I love that he's going to be on Legends.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're doing a Prison Break reunion.
I know, that's great, right?
But so I was like, man, this dude's busy.
Well, that's not going to be a series, is it?
No, I think it's just
it's just going to be a one.
It's like
mini.
24, like the 24 reunion. Yeah, they
right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's cool. I don't know that I'll watch the Prison Break thing, but Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited. And the fact that he's going to be on it all the time. Oh, that's amazing. And of course that means he's going to cross back over to the Flash, right? That's fantastic.
Yep.
And at the end of the episode with the heat ray gun, he calls his good friend, a partner in crime that he's had over and over,
Mick Rory.
Yep. And his voice is played by Dominic Purcell, who was also on Prison Break with him.
Mm-hmm.
His main guy. And he was John Doe in John Doe, which was a series that I highly recommend people watch if you're into this genre. It was a great, great show. And he plays Heatwave.
Mm-hmm. And I have to think that was just a pure casting stunt.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But it's a great one. It's a great one. It's like, okay, we've cast Wentworth Miller. Probably, I don't know if Miller said, okay, let's get my buddy Dominic as Heatwave. Or
he's great as Heatwave, though. So,
mm-hmm.
I mean, they had to think, hey, that guy would be great as Heatwave anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great casting stunt, but it's also good casting.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yep.
So I'm ecstatic about this casting anyway. I mean, they're so good together and they must work well together. I mean, they must be friends.
I would think so, because if they're going to be around that much, you think they would get along.
Right. And Dominic Purcell and Wentworth Miller they light up the screen together in the episode where they face off against the Flash.
Yeah.
They are fantastic. Lots of Ghostbusters jokes, crossing the streams.
Yes.
They're just amazing together.
Fun to watch.
Right. And even this call at the end of the episode is just so dry. And, well, I have this thing I think you'll enjoy. He's just great.
Mm-hmm.
Are you in? And Dominic says, I'm in. It's wonderful. And it's really exciting. And you just know, oh, they're coming back. They're coming back. They're coming back. This is the kind of thing that gets me fangirling, this sort of setup for them to come back and be on.
I am eagerly anticipating that first official Rogues gathering where you have Captain Cold, Heatwave, Golden Glider, Zoom. Well, Zoom's not really counted as the Rogues Gallery, though.
Okay.
He's his own thing, like Abracadabra.
Okay.
He's not part of the gang. But, I mean, you have the Trickster. You have Mirror Master.
Mm-hmm.
They still need to introduce Mirror Master.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Unless he's season 3, big bad. But I got to think the Mirror Master's coming.
We've seen the Trickster, though.
Yeah, we've seen the
the Trickster's younger counterpart.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
So yeah.
How about Grodd?
Grodd's like, there's 3 main villains: Reverse Flash, Grodd, and Abracadabra, that are kind of off in their own thing. They're not technically the Rogues.
They don't play well with other.
Yeah, they're not really the Rogues. But yeah. I mean, they may associate with them, but they're not officially part of the gang.
Okay.
So yeah.
Grodd, I know Grodd was part of that in the cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know whether they counted him.
It's like the Secret Society. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I can't wait.
The Legion of Doom. Yeah, that kind of yeah.
I can't wait to see them all ganging up together. Because it's gonna take some working behind the scenes.
That's gonna have to be like a season finale or something.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I've been waiting for that, because it was originally that was promised. The Rogues teaming up was promised way back in the Flash season 2 of the original Flash series with John Wesley Shipp. Because we had introduced, there was supposed to be a Rogues Gallery episode teaming up Captain Cold, the Trickster, and the Mirror Master. And it never happened because the show never got picked up for a second season.
Right.
And that was like, gone. But
now we get a second season of this.
Yes.
And we have quite a few villains introduced.
Yep. It's a matter of time.
Definitely Mirror Master wouldn't be hard to get.
Just need to introduce Mirror Master, and then it's all there.
Right.
It's right there. He's the last key component.
That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yep.
Captain Cold, Heatwave, Trickster, Mirror Master. Very nice.
Yep. Golden Glider. Yep.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yep.
And of course, there's the whole thing with Cisco and Golden Glider.
Yeah.
She could very much distract him, right?
Yeah. We're kind of getting a little ahead there, but yeah.
She flusters him.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah, I like that little relationship they have together.
Mm-hmm.
So
she winds him up and gets him excited. And
yeah. Well, let's get back to this episode.
Yeah.
Captain Cold, he likes this weapon very much. He pulls off a heist without it, though, in the beginning.
Right.
With gum in a museum.
Yeah.
And he steals a diamond.
Yeah, he's after the Kandak diamond.
Right. Do you want to give any background on that?
Yeah, the Kandak diamond is a nod to this country, fictional DC Universe country of Kandak, which is where DC Comics supervillain Black Adam is from. So if you're into like Shazam.
Yeah. He wears kind of a backwards Shazam outfit.
Yeah, he's like the reverse Flash of the Shazam world.
Right.
Essentially.
Right. And he vacillates between good and bad, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's kind of that that gray kind of character. Exactly. Right. He's starts off as a villain, but then he ends up like later in the comics, he ends up like working with the Justice Society. And so he straddles that little, like, I could be a good, kind of like the Namor in the Avengers, where it's like he could be a villain, he could be a hero.
Right.
So, which makes him interesting.
It does.
Like Namor, he has the pointy Spock ears.
Right, he does. He actually reminds me a lot of Namor.
And the Widow's Peak, but yeah.
Right. Namor reminds me of Black Adam. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does have a bit of a nod to a DC property, and I like how he gives the little girl a piece of gum.
Yeah.
Does the cow thing have any?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's just more like, wow, Central City was really boring until the Flash showed up.
Right.
That's the only thing I can think of it.
Okay.
But I don't know if you know this or caught this or not, but they actually had a classic Flash character, Dexter Miles, introduced. Okay. Dexter Miles, for old school Flash fans of the comics, you know that Dexter Miles is the guy who is the curator of the Flash Museum.
Oh.
So they worked him into this episode as the Central City Museum curator.
Very nice.
So yeah. So he's the guy that, if you watch the episode, he's the guy who like noticed that Captain Cold came back twice to go through the tour, and he's like, nobody goes through the tour twice.
Right.
So it tips off the cops. So it's like, I know you need to watch this guy.
Right.
So that's Dexter Miles.
Very cool.
And he was played by
thank you.
You're welcome. Bruce Harwood.
Okay. So, I know that name.
So Yatsu.
What has he done?
I don't know.
Why did I not pick this up? I looked him up. Maybe that's where I know it. I
stumped the research goddess.
No. I looked everybody up from the episode.
Right.
And he just probably wasn't in a lot of stuff. He did a lot of one-shots probably.
So yeah, a little nod to the Flash, old school Flash fans with Dexter Miles being there.
Excellent. Now, the Flash Museum was after the Flash has done a lot of stuff, was in the Justice League, all this stuff. They set up a museum in Central City that did a nod to all of these great things that he did, and it had all these medals and everything.
It was like a big, like, the Flash is awesome. We're honoring him with this museum, and then turning into a tourist site.
Right. So here's all the great things he did.
Yeah. And all the other Flashes too. So yeah.
Right. But here's Wally West.
They actually tease
Barry Allen. Here's Bart Allen.
They actually tease this when Barry enters the Speed Force and has those little visions of the past and the future.
Right.
One of those visions is the Flash Museum.
Right. With the little statues of the Flash.
Yeah. They have a big statue of the Flash out front.
Right.
And so yeah.
Right. It's been pictured different ways, right? With like two Flashes on the outside or one big statue on the outside.
Yeah, they haven't come up with a really consistent design for it.
Right. It's very cool.
But maybe they will.
I've always liked the Flash Museum. And of course, Central City's been destroyed a million times, and there's always pictures of the Flash Museum with the statue on its side.
It's like, well, let's see, we could build a really great target for all the criminals in town to attack.
Right. It's always the Flash.
And we could put really important devices like all the villains' weapons and this cosmic treadmill. We could put that in there.
Right.
And it's this great accessible place for you to
so
rob.
Stupid. It's so stupid because they put all this stuff that it's like, hey, look at this device that he disarmed, and then put it in there. And
but see, I love it because they do it.
I know.
I love that.
So stupid,
I love the Flash Museum.
It's so stupid.
It makes no sense, but it's cool as hell.
I know. So yeah,
you don't have a Batman museum. You don't have a Superman museum. The Flash gets a museum.
Right.
That's what makes him cool.
I know.
Anybody else got a museum? No.
No. I never.
Arrow, do you have a museum? No.
No, Oliver wouldn't want a museum.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just
poo-poo that right away.
Yep.
No, I never caught that was his name. That's awesome.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So,
it's an Easter egg, basically.
Very nice. Yeah. And so is the diamond,
right?
For that matter.
Right.
And one of the policemen is shot on the scene, and that's where Barry also, he's very upset.
It really bothers him.
Very much so.
That he couldn't save somebody.
Right. And he sees the gang ride off on the motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
And the gang, of course, they're all backbiting when they're, off at and they, Leonard says, we're not supposed to shoot cops.
Yeah. And they're like, why not?
Well, because it's a cop.
Mm-hmm.
And if we ever get in trouble, that's the big one. Shoot people, I don't care. But a cop,
Captain Cold does not want that much heat.
Right. That's a lot of heat. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. No, but if you get caught and you've got, killing a cop on your record, that you're going up the river for a long time.
Yeah.
So one of the guys in his merry band of criminals
henchmen.
Right. He says, well, then I'm out. And Captain Cold says, well, then you're out. And he shoots him.
Zap. Yep.
Right. And again.
Anybody else?
Right. This shows that he has no remorse at all, except the only reason he doesn't want to kill cops is because he's thinking of himself.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a real insight into his character. He doesn't care about the cop.
No, he's only looking out for number one.
Right. It's what are the consequences of those actions?
Mm-hmm. And
the consequences are that he would get in trouble.
Yeah.
He would get in bad trouble.
Does the cop's death benefit me?
Right.
No.
And the answer
then
is
we don't do it.
No. And the other deaths, well, of course not. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they don't really benefit him. And I mean, really, in the long run, no.
Well, that's why he gets rid of the henchmen and picks up Heatwave.
Right. So
these guys are idiots. All right, what about I call somebody I can trust?
Right. And he knows he's going to be able to trust Mick because he's worked with him many times in the past, and he keeps his mouth shut, his head down.
He's got a little bit of a temper.
Sure, but big deal.
Yeah.
He knows who to kill and who not to kill, and
he runs a little hot, but
again. So bad.
It's so easy to do these.
I know. Okay, Cisco. Okay, so it really gives you a lot of insight into his character, though, this episode.
Yeah. We
see a lot of Captain Cold. And this is very consistent with his character in the comic books, too.
Right.
He thinks about himself only.
Mm-hmm.
Completely himself, and if he has to kill the people he works with, he does.
Mm-hmm.
And he chooses people around him based on how it benefits him and whether they're assets to him. He's always in charge.
Right.
And he thinks that Mick is going to be an underling, and that for the most part it's true. I mean, Mick is not up to his level of smartness.
No,
Definitely.
That's probably why he appreciates Mick around, because he knows that Mick's not smart enough to take over.
Right. Exactly right.
he can outsmart Mick.
Now, the only reason he keeps his sister around is because she's his sister.
Exactly.
Because she's on the same level intelligence-wise as him. But she's a sister, so blood is thicker than intelligence in this case.
Well, and if you know about Captain Cold, you know he always looked out for his sister.
Right.
So.
But there's definitely going to be some rivalries there because she's very smart and she doesn't really listen to him all the time. So there's some issues there. But definitely Mick Rory is an underling to him. They're not equals in the least. So you need to pay attention to that, you know, there's going to be trouble if there's someone around him that's equal to him in intelligence. Yep. And people in Star Labs are not only equal, but are sometimes much smarter than him.
Right. Which is another reason why the Reverse Flash does not work with the Rogues.
Right.
Because Captain Cold would not.
Oh, that's true.
Not work with the Reverse Flash.
Because he is
from the future. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
Exactly.
That's why they don't get along. They wouldn't get along.
Yeah, definitely not. And that's why he and Barry rub up against each other, because Barry is smart. Or Wally, or whoever, whichever Flash. They're all very smart. And, you know, they're equals. I don't know what Leonard's... Do we have Leonard's background at all?
We do, and we're actually supposed to get that in season 2. They cast Captain Cold's father.
Okay.
And the background is that there's a issue Flash 182 that not the original Barry Allen series, but the Wally West series.
Okay.
Where Jeff Johns wrote this.
Okay.
So I'm guessing he's going to be writing this episode coming up. But
so
I think it's in episode 4 of the new season. But that. Oh yeah, Michael Ironside is playing.
Awesome.
Yeah, who's perfect. But what it is in the comics, Captain Cold and his sister grew up in a very abusive household.
Is he a military guy?
I know he was an ex-cop.
Okay.
And
same difference.
He ended up like getting his partner killed or whatever, and then got injured somehow a little bit, put on disability. So they kicked him off the force. And then he became a raging drunk.
And he takes it
out. Alcoholic, and he takes it out on his wife, who's very weak, and his kids.
Okay.
And just beats the crap out of them. So Snart is always having to protect his sister, Lisa, from their father.
Okay.
And then they finally, he finally has enough and runs off.
With his sister?
No, actually leaves his sister behind.
Oh, that's not nice.
Because she has a promising career in gymnastics or something.
Okay.
Or ice skating, I think. I think it was ice skating because of the nod to the characters ice skating.
Right.
But so she has that promising future, but then that doesn't work out either. And so she eventually leaves too. And then they kind of are off on their own together.
Michael Ironside is brilliant.
So if they do that story, which I'm thinking they're at least going to hint about it or at least touch on it a little bit, because why else would you bring in Captain Cold's father?
Right.
If you weren't going to touch on that story.
Right. So
especially with Jeff Johns being executive producer. Let's put it that way.
So we're going to see a little bit of him growing up.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to get some backstory on Captain Cold.
Very good.
And Golden Glider.
Very good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, especially seeing into these characters. To me, he is one of the more fascinating characters on this show, Captain Cold.
Right.
He's just so multifaceted.
He's a great villain.
And Barry Allen also is super multifaceted. So I think they're really great foils for each other. And I think also that's why the fake Harrison Wells is a good foil.
Yep.
Also, is because he's very twisty.
Yeah.
And so this episode really does it for me. And the fact that Felicity's in it. I know we're not really touching on the story in this.
Yeah. One of the things about Felicity, since you brought her up.
Okay.
The trivia night.
Yes, that
at
was
Jenna's.
great.
That was a great scene, and I love the fact that Barry and Felicity call their trivia team name MC Hammer.
I know, it's so great.
It's Hammer time. So you can't touch this.
Yep. It just so happens I have that.
I know, that's what I thought was awesome. That's why I got to touch on this. But
yeah, I like that too.
yeah, and this is where Iris and Felicity have their little heart to heart about like, well, she's kind of like she's almost like she's what's it auditing or like she's evaluating Felicity as a potential girlfriend.
Yeah, she's
for
feeling
Barry.
her out.
Yeah, she's like, well, do you have a boyfriend? No.
Right.
Okay, check.
Right.
And then so
yeah, she's feeling her out, definitely.
Yeah.
See, how she would be.
And then she goes off and tells Barry, hey, she wore a hot dress.
She's into you.
Yep. So,
yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah, and Felicity uses her skills to help ferret out Captain Cold and all that stuff. I mean, they do stop him in the end, but he gets away with the diamond.
Yeah.
They have kind of a tenuous truce at the end. It's not like the truce they have at the end of the season, obviously.
Right.
But it's more like, well, I can't really stop you forever here, but I'm going to stop you from doing something worse than you would be doing. And this is very much like Captain Cold in the books. He's very equal to Barry.
Yep.
Barry can't really stop him, but he can temper him. And that's essentially what he does in the comic book is he tempers him. He's a villain. He's going to do some stuff. He
does some stuff in this episode.
Yeah.
And there's one thing we need to talk about.
Okay.
That on that subject. You're setting me up perfectly for this.
Okay.
The train.
Yep. Oh yeah.
This was we had gotten some cool effects up till now.
Yeah.
But this episode was the first time the special effects
that was
made you go wow, because there's a really cool train derailment caused by Captain Cold.
Yeah.
In this episode where the Flash has to go in and rescue people one by one as the train's flipping around. So he's like, running all in crazy directions. Yeah, in slow-mo crazy directions.
Yeah.
Rescuing everybody.
Streaking through the train.
So cool. Streaking.
Yeah.
It's streaking. I see what you did there.
Yep. Thank you.
But yeah, it is such a great special effects sequence.
It is. And you can see how right at the beginning, everything slows down for him.
Yep. Because it moves so fast. Yeah.
Right.
Relative.
So it's like the slow, how he sees everything in slow motion because he's going so fast.
Timing.
And then,
yeah.
Right. And then he takes off and he starts saving people one by one. And I like when he sees that one girl, kind of drifting there, and he goes off and he picks her out of the wreckage and pulls her out. And that's one thing that's, Leonard really watches Barry, not Barry, but the Flash.
He studies him.
And he says, I know your weakness.
You care.
Right. And you're not going to be able to catch me and save all these people. So bye-bye. Train derailment. I'm out.
Yep.
You save all these people and I'm gone.
And with pure cold detachment, he just was perfectly willing to like destroy this train and kill all these people just to get away.
Right. Yeah. But he knows that Barry will at least save some of them.
Right.
Even if he doesn't save all of them. He doesn't care if he doesn't save all of them.
It's
I know this is your weakness. You're going to at least try to save some of these people. So bye-bye. And he's dead on. He knows for sure Barry's going to stay behind and he's not going to go after him. So it's brilliant on his part. It's very good.
That whole sequence is great.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I love that. And I also like the scene. I mean, it's kind of a callback to when Felicity says she wants to see it. I think it's funny. I want to see it. I mean, the Flash, not whatever. And it's definitely, I want to see, dick pic or whatever.
Right. She's Felicity on Snapchat.
Yeah. And he says, give me your phone, which is funny as well, because that's why I say dick pic. It's
right.
So give me your phone. And he says, see that building, watch it And then, he goes up there and you see flash, 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 flash.
Right.
And then he comes back down and he shows her the picture and then his shoes are on fire.
Yeah. Barry, your shoes are on fire.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. No big deal.
That's why I have a resistance suit.
Yeah.
And of course, that's the same kind of special effects they use in the train.
Right.
So it's like they're setting us up for watching him in the train.
Mm-hmm.
And I like when they do that as well. So anything else that
well,
not really covering the plot,
there was that final scene with Barry and Felicity on the train saying
Yeah.
goodbye, which is
saying,
very
I wish we could be together, but we're just not right for each other.
But they do share a kiss.
Yeah.
Because it's right there.
But there's no spark.
No, but it's like they didn't have to kiss.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a little peck either.
No, it wasn't.
It was a full-fledged kiss.
People wanted it.
Yeah.
I think that's why they did it.
Yep.
So
like all you Baricity shippers.
Was it Baricity?
I don't know. I'm just calling it that.
Or Fairy?
I think Baricity, but
okay.
I don't know. You have Elicity, so why not Baricity?
I know. Okay.
So that's where I'm going with that.
Okay.
If they can have Elicity, you can have Baricity. So there.
All right. Or it could have been Oak.
Or Centralicity. Yeah, how's that?
Centralicity. Yeah, that was I like that when they're finally saying to each other, we are perfect for each other, but it's just not right. And I like how
Smoke and Allen.
Smoke and Allen. And where there's smoke, there's fire in this episode. Ooh. I guess. Smoke, ice, and fire.
Yep.
Yeah, I do like that she's on the train and she's sitting there reading and she's got this long journey and Barry just like zip and he's right on the train. And she's like, well, I guess you don't have to really worry. Yep. And she's like, why can't you just take me there? I'm sure in her head. Why I gotta sit here and
save me a train ticket, damn it.
Right. Exactly.
I came out all this way. You could at least help me out.
Right? Right?
Right.
Yeah. So, we didn't really follow the story, but that's the main part.
We got there eventually in the end.
Yes. I really am more interested in just Captain Cold's backstory in this episode. Yeah. And the fact that Felicity shows up and there's that whole thing with Iris. And
I guess we're gonna
Iris is interesting.
Do more Captain Cold.
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay with you, right?
Oh, yeah.
That we just talk about.
I could talk Captain Cold.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Good. So what did you give this episode?
This was, like I said, this is one of the first that has the big special effects, and it was a great episode. Felicity's wonderful in it. I give this one 9 out of 10 derailed train cars.
Yeah. I love this episode as well. This is the first one that got me super excited. Mm-hmm. Not that the other ones didn't, but this was the one that got me really amped up for the show. And so I gave it 9 smoldering chucks.
Shoes. Yeah, I got it. Nice.
Yeah. I have Chuck Taylors. I have like 10 pairs of Chuck Taylors. I love them. So those were great. 2 great episodes this week to talk about.
Yep.
So is there any news?
I think we have some news.
Okay.
One, the first we got to talk about this. This is the first big news. Yep. What's that theme I hear in the background?
I yelled this out to my husband like 10 times the other day when this news came out.
And now you fans of maybe remember us when we were just Dangerous Habits, the Constantine podcast.
That's right.
So you probably know where we're going with this.
That's right.
But a certain someone by the name of Matt Ryan is returning as John Constantine. Woo!
That's right.
Yeah!
And, I love how it happened. He did a little video.
Yep.
And he said, yes, that's right. I'm coming back as John Constantine. And he's going to be on Arrow. And I yelled it out. And I said, Matt Ryan's coming back as John Constantine. He's going to be on Arrow. And my husband's like, what? And I yelled it out again. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. And I said, like an hour later, I'm like, Constantine's going to be on Arrow.
Yeah. Now, as far as we know, it's just for one episode.
But it's the door open.
It's going to be the 5th episode of the season coming up, season 4. It's going to be called Haunted.
Uh-huh.
And apparently it's going to involve the certain resurrection of someone by the name of Sarah Lance.
Yep.
So
fantastic.
Who better to get involved in that than John Constantine?
That's so great.
So I'm
great.
sure nothing will go wrong.
It's a pivotal character too.
So,
I
yeah.
mean, he's gonna have to come back.
Now, fans remember, you may know that when Constantine's the show was Fate, was it was axed by NBC because they're dicks, and weren't sure what's going to happen to it. Stephen Amell made the plea, or he basically put it out there that he would be willing to appear on Constantine if there was a season 2, if NBC picked it up for season 2,
or if CW
or if somebody picked it up, or
right.
CW. No, sadly, no one did. So they've kind of flipped it so that now Matt Ryan is coming to Arrow.
Right.
So that's
great. That does leave the door open.
Yep.
For him appearing on any of those properties.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Oh God, that would be awesome. I mean, he could appear on any of those shows now.
Yeah, because he's actually the character will be officially introduced.
Right.
So now
he's on that continuity.
He's in play, at least potentially in play. Now I don't know if this was just a one-time condition thing.
Sure.
But we let him use him once, but why would you not let him use him?
God, he's so great though.
DC Comics, they're all DC Comics shows. Why would you not?
So excited.
If Arrow wants to use him, let him use him.
I'm so excited.
So yeah.
I yelled to my husband, I'm telling you right now, I was so excited by that. And I watched that little video because Matt Ryan is so excited too. I mean, he just looks so happy.
So for 1 week only, you're probably going to get the return of Dangerous Habits, the Constantine podcast.
That's right.
Or at least for one segment.
That's right. We'll play that theme over.
Needless to say, we are going to cover this episode.
That's right.
Yeah. Papa Midnight's all happy. It's all good.
Right. That's right. Okay. So more news?
More news. Supergirl has been very busy in the casting department. I have 3 notable castings. They've cast Jenna Dewan Tatum, who is Channing Tatum's wife, as Lucy Lane, sister of Lois Lane.
Right.
So she's going to be coming to National City. But yeah, I know that name. We had a bank out here in Ohio called National City Bank before it became PNC Bank. So every time I hear National City, I'm thinking of a bank.
Interesting. And why was it National City Bank? Is there a National City out there?
I know.
Okay.
No, I don't think it was a local. I think it was like a, in the area, the region or whatever. I don't think it was just Ohio specific, but.
Okay.
So I just think of a bank. Now that
National City's pretty lame.
Yeah. National City. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. But anyway, I don't know why they didn't use Midvale, but.
Yeah.
But that's Supergirl. But yeah, I don't know. Also, Justice Leak, who was on Powers, the TV show Powers, he's going to be coming to Supergirl as a supervillain called Helgramite, who is this insect kind of supervillain that fought Superman in the comics.
Right.
He was kind of a really kind of B-C lister villain. As Superman's Rogues Gallery goes.
Very down low on the list.
So all the lame villains that won't end up in a Superman film get to go on Supergirl.
Right.
That's my guess.
Right.
So and then a little bigger, I actually quite a bit bigger, is Britt Morgan is going to be Livewire.
Right.
And Livewire first appeared on the Superman animated series, and then ended up, she was voiced by Lori Petty on that, who was also Tank Girl. Yep. And then,
and in a League of Their Own.
Right. But now it's going to be Britt Morgan playing her in live action. And Britt, if you know who Britt Morgan is, you probably, or at least if you watch True Blood, you know who Britt Morgan is.
Yep.
Because she played the Alcide's girlfriend, Debbie Pelt.
Right. Right.
So that's who, which is actually pretty good casting. Because Debbie was kind of crazy and Livewire's kind of crazy, so that works out pretty good.
Yeah. No, I'm thinking of Joe Manganiello.
Do you want to be alone?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Good.
Just checking. Legends of Tomorrow has been busy. They cast Casper Crump as Big Bad Vandal Savage.
Yeah.
Who looks? If you've seen a picture, I've got a picture on Damn Good Coffee and Hot. Dude looks exactly like Vandal Savage.
Yeah, he does.
Oh my God, that's like the perfect physical casting so far.
Yeah. Even the pictures that they chose of him is like
dead on. It's exactly how you want him to be.
I know. He
He's
looks
got
just like Vandal Savage.
He's got this. Oh my God, it's perfect casting.
I know. It's great.
I don't know how he sounds, but he looks the part perfectly.
Who cares?
Who cares? The Flash, as we're talking about Flash, cast Wally West.
Yep.
Form of Keenan Lonsdale.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's the new 52 Wally West for those of you keeping score at home, not the lovable redhead.
I know.
Older fans, yeah.
I know.
So,
oh well.
Oh well, but you knew it was coming anyway because
Yeah.
of Iris and Joe, so it can't be a surprise.
I know.
Agent Carter season 2 has decided that the Agent Carter big bad for that season is going to be Madame Mask, which I'm excited about. They're kind of reinventing the character as a 40s type character.
Oh, cool.
So that's probably how they can get away with kind of like the mask look back then. You know, it'll be more like a femme fatale.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
Very cool.
So that's cool. And
no visuals on that, I'm assuming.
No.
Okay.
No, sadly.
Just an announcement.
Just an announcement, yeah. No casting or anything on that one. And then last thing I have is that DC or NBC, the wonderful people who canceled Constantine after 13 episodes,
mm-hmm.
And canceled Hannibal after 3 seasons.
Yeah, that was wrong too.
Dicks, you're really in my doghouse right now.
Yeah, big time.
2 strikes right there.
Yeah.
They're developing a DC Comics workplace comedy.
Right.
Like The Office.
I know.
Called Powerless.
It was the worst. I heard of this and I thought, oh, please.
Now, we don't know what characters are involved, but
I hope it does not go past the pilot stage.
And supposedly, the premise of this, now, yeah, it's got a pilot production commitment, which means that I think that we're thinking about making a pilot.
Right.
We've secured the rights.
That's exactly where it is.
Okay,
it does not mean it will
be. It hasn't hit the pilot's production stage yet.
Correct.
So
I'm hoping it does not get picked up.
We've got it reserved in our little schedule, but that's it. We can erase it.
Can we please just cross our fingers and hope it doesn't get picked up?
But as I read up on this, apparently the premise is that it's supposed to focus on real world people that work in an office.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's set in the DC universe, so there's all kinds of superhero-y stuff going on around them for them to talk about.
Right.
Like Superman's flying outside the window, but you're not going to get like Superman or Batman on the show apparently.
Right.
So the question is, what heroes will we see? And I'm thinking, well, is this where we get like Blue Beetle, Ted Kord, like a Justice League International thing, or
It doesn't matter. It sounds dumb.
Yeah, so we don't know.
Sounds really dumb.
So we'll see, and it's NBC. So even if it does get picked up, it'll be canceled after 13 episodes.
Right. So let's not.
So yeah.
Just let's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, well, we really like The Office. The Office worked, and we really want a DC comic series. So let's mesh the two together. I think that was the idea.
Oh,
some network suit came up with.
Terrible.
Yeah. So that's all I got.
Now, can we mention? I'm going to mention it anyway. The pilot for Lucifer was leaked.
Oh yeah.
Online, and of course, weeks ago, the pilot for Supergirl was leaked.
Yep.
And you and I have seen both.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
Right. Supergirl, I thought, has potential.
Right.
I thought it was cute.
It is cute. It is a cute show. It's going to be the show that, moms can watch with their kids.
Right.
So.
And I think it has potential, definitely. It can grow.
Mm-hmm.
I think it has talent on it.
Right. I mean, they are going to be adding villains, so obviously, because we just talked about them.
And I would give it probably a 7 or a 7.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Okay.
It's got potential to go higher, and maybe it will, like when we get Livewire, because Supergirl versus Livewire could be very cool if they do it right.
And the actress is good.
And it looks like they're spending money on the show, because there's a very, very cool effect where Supergirl in the pilot brings down this plane.
Yes.
Safely.
Right.
So.
Yeah, they're spending some money.
Yeah, they're spending some money. At least in the pilot, they did.
I think, as well as you, Callista Flockhart might be the weak points.
Yeah,
in
that's
the series.
that was yeah, that's one we kind of agree on, that Calista Flockhart kind of really camps it up,
Yeah.
and she's like got
Well,
this
I'm not a
whole
fan of her to begin with.
she's got this whole Devil Wears Prada vibe to her
Yes.
character Cat Grant.
I thought it was exactly Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah,
You know,
because
here's my coat, hang it up. Here's
yeah,
my
yeah,
this,
Supergirl's like
that.
the peon that has to be subservient and do all the crap stuff as her assistant.
Right. I mean, she almost literally walked in
Right.
and did the whole
Yeah.
Devil Wears Prada spiel.
And
Um,
that's what kind of frustrated me. It's like, well, we can't do better for Kara than downtrodden office assistant.
right. So I'm hoping that goes in a different direction.
Right.
But that would be the main weak link for me.
Yeah. Just remember, Iris West started off in a coffee shop.
Right.
So things can change.
Right. I definitely liked the Jimmy that they cast.
Yeah, Makad Brooks. I think.
Yeah.
He played Eggs on True Blood.
Oh, right.
Season 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He was Tara's boyfriend on
Right.
True Blood.
And I liked him as Tara's boyfriend on True Blood.
Yeah, he was good. Then he killed him off.
I know.
I was like, man,
I
that
was
sucks.
very upset by that.
He got really screwed over on that show.
He did.
Eggs
He
got.
did. I was upset by that. I watched through season 3 of True Blood. I didn't watch past that.
I understand.
But I remember that, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. 7.5. And then Lucifer I watched 2 nights ago. And I have to say, my first impression was that it's almost like a complete cross between Constantine and Castle.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, hey, I'm going to follow you and I'll be like the hip guy that looks at things from a different way, and you're the cop that goes by the book.
Mm-hmm.
Castle-y thing. And then also that Constantine kind of, the angel's going to come down and stop time and talk to me, and I'm in trouble with God.
Right.
And, the whole dark, everything stops. And, I mean, it was very Constantine-y.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And then there was the whole castle thing with the cop story also. However, that being said, I really dug it.
I did too. I actually watched this episode today and this afternoon before this podcast, and I thought it was fun. I mean, Tom Ellis is going to be a huge star after this show comes out.
I agree.
Everybody's going to be like dropping clothes for this guy.
Right, I agree. Panty dropper.
Big time.
Yeah.
He is charming and he's the bad boy charm. He's got a little bit slick, but he can
so cute.
But he's also got the potential to be going dark.
Yes.
And you think, okay, through most of this pilot episode, he is this kind of a little bit smarmy, a little sure of himself, overly confident.
Right.
But there's a kind of a dark twist toward the end, which could pay off very nicely.
Very big.
It was very unexpected. And it could be, the show is going to be just more than just a cop show.
I agree.
I think it's going to be, if you read up on the show and you're expecting just like, okay, it's the devil as in a police procedural.
Right. It's not. There's going to be arcs.
Yeah. It's not, it may be that, but it's not going to be just that.
Right. I agree.
So
there's going to be an overlying arc.
And Neil Gaiman gave his little seal of approval on this on Twitter. He said that he enjoyed watching it. So
yeah, and he created this character
exactly in Sandman. So Sandman number 5.
Right.
So
and now if you want to get a feel for his character, you can just read the arc in Sandman, starting with number 5, where he abdicates hell and gives the key to Sandman. And he says, you find a new owner.
Right.
I'm just going to lay on the beach. And it pretty much just sums up this guy's character.
That has set up his ongoing series.
Right.
Lucifer, which was written by Mike Carey.
Right.
And where
but you don't need to read that.
But he's the owner of a nightclub.
Right.
And, he's got Mazikeen as his assistant in the club.
Right.
So it's not mandatory reading.
No.
But yeah, I'm curious to see how much they actually
draw of the Lucifer comics.
How much comics they draw from.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the setup in Sandman is very much his character on this show. He's very laissez-faire.
Yeah.
kind of, come on, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. You can come down here all you want. I'm not coming back. It's just great. I liked it. And,
it's
when I say it's a cross between two existing shows,
mm-hmm.
Usually I would say I hate that. But in this case, it really impressed me. And I would give this a solid 8.
Yeah.
Solid
Yep.
8. Maybe 8.5.
It's definitely the stronger pilot of the two.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. I don't know if it's going to end up being paired with Gotham. Like, Gotham would be on at 8 and then Lucifer at 9, or I don't know how that's going to play out or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know where they're going to schedule it, but
great.
Yeah, definitely Lucifer. Definitely want to check that out.
Yeah. So that being that, I guess we're out. How can they reach us?
They can reach us at Fandom Zone Cast on Twitter and on Facebook, the Fandom Zone Podcast. Cleverly enough.
That's right.
And then they can get us at fandomzonecast@gmail.com, which nobody ever has. So
no.
I feel kind of like nobody uses the email anymore. It's all like Facebook and Twitter. So
right.
So
but
it's there if you want it. We will read it if you
you
email it. But yeah, definitely check us out there. We could use some more likes on Facebook. We only got 52.
Yes.
And we could use some iTunes reviews. We haven't had one of those in a long while. So
that's right.
Help us out there because we would love that. And Karen, where can they find you?
At Oliveria on the Twitter machine. And my About Me link is there as well in my bio. And that is where you can find me elsewhere.
Yep.
And I have some exciting new projects coming up.
Ooh, exciting projects. Such as?
Well, since I will be discussing comic book shows on this podcast, I will most likely, and this is not set in stone yet, but I will be teaming up with Emily O'Leary, most likely, for a Supergirl podcast.
That's awesome.
Right. Called...
You're going to cheat on me.
No, it will go hand in hand with this one. And we're calling it Made of Steel, MAID.
Nice.
Of Steel.
Nice.
Again, not set in stone, but maybe.
Awesome.
So we're working on that. We have to convince Daryl. So
I'm all over that.
There's that, and I'll be discussing it here too. So I'll only have to watch it once, and
we'll be talking about Supergirl here. So
right.
Yeah. But you'll just talk about it more. So
right. And you guys know I have projects over there anyway. So and where can they find you?
They can find me at Charles Skaggs on Twitter and at Charles Skaggs on Instagram. And then Google Plus for all you crazy kids on the Google Plus.
Yay!
So I have 63 followers from Google Plus.
Wow!
So that's awesome. You guys rock. Apparently there are quite some crazy kids on the Google Plus. And then my blog of geeky things, Damn Good Coffee and Hot.
I love it.
And you can find me on Facebook as well. And so check me out there. And that's basically it.
For people who want to know, guess how many people are following me on Twitter now?
Oh, you're going to rub this in, aren't you?
I know.
You just like to twist the knife in my side. Go ahead.
2,035. Once I hit that point, it was just like, phew.
I have...
I'm so happy.
Like 58. So...
You have 359.
Okay. Oh, I got 359. Okay, well, all right. 350.
You're good.
Yeah, it could be better.
I'll get you more.
I'd like to at least get 500.
Yeah, let's get you 500.
I would at least like to get 500.
Why do you not have 500?
People don't like me.
Tweet more.
People don't like me.
You need to tweet more.
Well, I do. I tweet all the time, especially once the shows come on, and I'll be like live tweeting.
Okay.
Once like Gotham and all that comes on, I'm going to be live tweeting that. So.
All right. So he'll be live tweeting. So.
Yeah, Fear the Walking Dead. When that comes out, I'll live tweet that. So,
follow him.
Yeah, follow me, so you can tell me how stupid I am.
That's at Charles Skaggs with the Z on the end.
No.
Okay, just regular at Charles Skaggs with an S on the end.
Yeah.
All right. I'm kidding. I want you to have more followers. I wouldn't sabotage you.
Sabotage.
I would never do that. All right, so that's it for this week, you guys.
Sabotage. Sorry.
Sabotage with shoes. I'm stupid Star Trek. All right, so we'll see you next week, guys.
Bye, everyone.